tell us about your pal?
Do I have to?
Or the attire, your choice.
Right. I'd like to point out to everyone that the lock picture on my iPad is me wearing a Grey Cup winning t-shirt and holding a broken trophy, which I did not break, above my head. So I don't lose all the bets. I also made Mayor Robertson of Vancouver read a beautiful poem about springtime in Vancouver when we won that bet. Sometimes, however, I lose. So I have to actually give great props to the Ducks and to Mayor Tate in Anaheim for this fun thing. They made a little badge, a little maple leaf saying Mayor for Wild Wing, and then one of my colleagues in my office, using heretofore unknown craft skills, made him his own little chain of office. So this is actually somewhat nicer than having to borrow the Disney-era purple hockey sweater the last time this happened. But Mayor Wild Wing is doing a great job on a very complicated set of land use amendments. So well done, Wild Wing.
So do you cheer for them or do you cheer for our neighbors?
I am not answering that question. I know. I just can't bring myself to do it. So, you know, when you have a rival, you got to wish ill on your rival. But I understand that many Calgarians are excited, and that's what makes this a great place to live. We can have difference of opinions, and who knows, there may be a bandwagon in my future depending on what happens tomorrow. All right, no other topics? Great. Anything else?
Mayor Nenshi, can you speak to the closure of 17th Ave and pushing the traffic into the residential areas in the Beltline?
I can. We have been working really hard on ensuring that this really, really big construction project on 17th Avenue will have as small as possible disruptions to businesses on 17th Avenue. It's the life of the Beltline. You know, this is as big as the work we were doing on Elbow Drive, and we've been much, much more thoughtful about how to keep access to the businesses open over the time period of construction. Now, I have actually asked a number of questions about the conversion of 14th and 15th Avenue to one-way streets. I am not one of those people who believes that one-way streets kill neighborhoods. You know, St. Catherine Street in Montreal is a one-way street, for example. It's a pretty vibrant streetscape. But I am a little bit concerned if our intent is to turn 14th and 15th Avenues, which are among the most densely populated residential streets in the city, into expressways for commuters. And so the question that I've asked to administration is to help me understand whether they have balanced the needs of the commuters who need to get through the area with the needs of the people who live in the area, with the needs of the businesses that rely on visitors to the area. And I just want to make sure that this is the right decision for all three of those groups.
Do you think in that case, I found out since I live on one of the streets.
Yes.
I just found out this morning and it was just slapped up as a poster by the mailboxes and really nobody knew much about it except what the map said. Do you think there could have been better communication of exactly what the plan is?
So my second question to administration is to help me understand the level of consultation. There has been extraordinarily deep consultation with businesses along 17th Avenue. I know that there's been a lot of consultation with the New Beltline Neighborhoods Association. I don't know how much there has been with the citizens who live on those streets, and that's the second question I have, because I too was a little surprised to hear about this yesterday.
How does that come about, these decisions? Because it's literally, I can't find anybody who knew about it until it actually was revealed on signs.
You're making me answer very difficult questions today.
Yeah.
So my third question to administration is help me understand the decision-making process. So fundamentally, I'm being a bit of a journalist now to dig around a little bit on the meaning of this decision and what impact it's going to have.
Do you think it'll start on May 23rd as it was indicated on the sign that nobody knew about until they saw the sign? Or
probably, because it has to do with the construction on 17th, but I am awaiting the answers to those questions. And I will remind people that Council has the opportunity to talk about it if they so choose.
Which raises the question, getting answers to any of your questions, could they change in time?
Anything's possible.
when do you expect the answers, or when would you like to have the answers?
Today?
Do you have any other questions? You said that those three
Are there any other questions regarding the 14th and 15th Avenue story?
No, I think you got them all. I'm going to keep him.
Do you find it interesting that you can have a 30-minute discussion about yesterday about one fellow who didn't like the secondary suite because somebody might peep into his
windows,
backyard or whatever, and yet for a project like this, which just by residences alone, there's thousands of people living there, and they're all waking up one day and stopping people like me on the street and saying, "What's going on? Please find answers for us."
It's important for us to remember that the Beltline is the second most populated neighborhood in the city. And I've said this continually, that for citizens who choose to live in the center city or who choose to live in high density housing, well, they're citizens too. And we shouldn't think of their neighborhoods as areas to cut through as we're going from place to place. We have to remember that there are lots of citizens that live there. And in fact, the city is getting much better about this. So the new design for Crowchild Trail is precisely that. The original design we'd seen for Crowchild Trail ignored the fact that there were neighborhoods there. And it sort of bulldozed its way through these existing neighborhoods to make life easier for people on the ends of the street. And now we've come up with a much better compromise. We have to remember that the rebuilding of 17th Avenue is actually a giant investment in the Beltline communities. It's a huge investment in a better streetscape, a more inviting place, something that will be more pleasant for residents and visitors alike. So ultimately, all this work is being done for the benefit of the people that live there. But we also have to make sure that we are not unduly hurting people during the construction.
All right, folks, I got to wrap this up. He's got a meeting to get to.
Do you think there should be anything done differently with the transit bus system, given the noise associated with it? Like you said, it's a very conservation. I'm sure it was streets.
That is not my fourth question, but it probably should have been my fourth question, specifically on the buses. As we have been testing these CNG buses and so on, in fact, the noise is much less problematic. We do have to make sure that the bus routes, the number 7 route, are able to get through. These are important bus routes, they're important parts of the transit network. And we have to be able to make sure that they get through as expeditiously as possible. I don't think that, we're not talking about buses every 3 minutes, 24 hours a day. So I don't think that in and of itself is going to be a big problem, but it's probably a question I should ask. So there you go. Now I have 4.